Government increases excise duty by 2 rupees each on petrol and diesel. Okay, that's the information. So petrol and diesel in India to further get costlier. I'm going to go straight across to Chetan for more on that. Chetan, what do you have for us?
In a major move to boost revenue for the government has hiked the excise duty on petrol and diesel by ₹2 per litre each. The increase comes amid fluctuating global crude oil prices and rising fiscal pressure. With this hike, petrol and diesel prices may rise unless oil marketing companies absorb the increase. So it's unclear as of now if the oil marketing companies, which is IOCL, SPCL, BPCL, the regular petrol pumps, would pass on the prices to the consumers or not. The last major excise duty revision was...
Okay, we'll connect with Chetan in just a moment from now. But government increases the excise duty on fuel by 2 rupees a litre is what we know at this point in time. Chetan was getting asked more clarity on the same, on whether this is going to be passed on to the consumer or not, dwelling upon that. But this is the information at this hour. And this, remember, will undoubtedly have a cascading effect on the prices of other essential commodities. Also, once the fuel prices increase, the cost of other essential commodities also automatically shoot up. Waiting to hear from the government on the reason behind these hikes at this point in time. But petrol and diesel to get costlier in India is what we know at this point in time. Petrol prices and diesel prices to increase by 2 rupees a litre. That's an excise duty increase. Chetan, in fact, is back with us. Chetan, if I heard you correctly, you did say that whether or not this is going to be passed on to the consumer or not, we don't know just yet. What do we know then?
Absolutely. It's actually unlikely that the oil marketing companies, the regular petrol pump owners, would pass on the prices to consumers, because usually when such duties are raised, the oil marketing companies absorb it. But yet it's unclear because the crude is now at $60 and the government would look at moving to boost its revenue. So the government has hiked the prices. The increase comes amid the fluctuating global crude oil prices and rising fiscal pressure. With this hike also, petrol and diesel prices may be absorbed by the companies. And the last major excise duty revision was done in 2020 during the pandemic, when duties were sharply raised. The government collects excise duty on fuel to support infra spending and manage fiscal deficits. However, this move may change in some time, but yes, it's quite unclear as of now. We'll have to wait and watch what the oil marketing companies have to say about price hikes to the consumers or not.
So what you're saying is that it may or may not be passed on to the consumer. What has been done in the past as well, whenever there's been an excise increase, duty increase of this nature? Chetan?
Whenever the government increases excise duty, it's usually done to increase its revenue, because any excise revision is done, in fact, to accommodate for the infrastructure spending, whatever highways, railways, roadways and bridges that the government builds. It's used to accommodate that. And the government last time did this duty revision in 2020 during the pandemic, when the duties were raised sharply in order to get more revenue, so that the government could probably sponsor the various programs that it was doing, for example, the vaccination programs. And so in order to do that, it's as of now unclear, because oil marketing companies will have to, of course, report that to the stock exchanges. So we'll have to wait and watch what the OMCs do.
Also, Chetan, I want to ask you, very recently, industrial bodies had been pressurizing the government to actually cut the excise duty in petrol and diesel, and now we see a hike.
Absolutely. In every 15 days, the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, in fact, engages in a discussion with Ministry of Finance, who keeps a very close eye on the prices of petrol and diesel, and especially crude oil prices. Right now, the price of crude oil is hovering around $60, so it's a major boost for the oil marketing companies as well, and of course on the government as well, because the government will get more revenue from the oil marketing companies. But what's negative news is for the oil marketing companies, because their margins will be impacted unless they pass on to the consumers. So we'll have to see if the oil marketing companies, in order to save their margins, will pass on the prices to the consumers or not.
All right, remains to be seen whether the cost is going to be, the increase in prices will be passed on to the consumer or not. I would thank you, Chetan, getting us those details at this point in time.